Hey friends, Tom Perrone, strongholdtraining.com. Getting ready to walk into a client meeting here in just a second, and wanted to just make a quick video about what I'm about to talk to these kind folks about, which is a system of how we go about identifying who we're going to promote into management positions. So this is an epidemic in organizations, an absolute epidemic. People get promoted into management positions that should not. You know this, I'm sure you've worked for managers who should have never been managers. How does this happen? The way it happens is typically we need someone to manage people. Management is a necessity. And so we find people who are really good at their job, who've been there for a long time. They can answer questions well. They're experts at the job. And so we promote them to managing people. And usually we'll say, well, they seem like they're pretty good with people, or they seem well liked, or they seem capable, so we put them in that role. Worst mistake ever. Once they're in that role, it's really hard to bring them back to a frontline position. You almost never can. So a lot of times they either don't make it and they move on to other companies because they hate management, so they quit, or they get fired because they don't accomplish goals or help their team succeed. Or worse, they stick around and you've got a terrible manager, legacy manager in a role and with tenure, and that's worse. They disrupt entire cultures of organizations. So what do we do if we're in that situation, and what should we do to avoid that situation? Well, let me answer the second question first. So you avoid that situation by putting people into management positions that actually have management ability. And here's the thing. They need to have proper training in management, like actually been trained on how to hold people accountable, how to coach people, how to run meetings, how to have organizational strategy. And we actually want to find those people that not only have those skills, have been trained on it, but they've actually experienced that before. You go, well, shoot, I don't have those people in my organization. I guess I'm gonna have to hire from the outside. Not necessarily. You see, before you promote someone into a middle management role, I suggest what you do is you actually give them the roles, specific duties, without the title. So what I mean by that is, if you think Susie might be a good person for this role, then have Susie run the next leadership meeting. Have Susie do a couple of coaching sessions with the team. Have Susie responsible for holding a peer accountable as a team lead for a while, and see if they rise to the occasion. Because what you have to recognize is, at the end of the day, even if someone's had prior management experience, going from being in a support role to a management role always is a transition that's painful and has sacrifice. Your relationships with people change, your expectations that are put on you change. And so you can't just expect that that's going to be an easy switch for most people to flip. So by giving them roles, kind of inching them into the position, you're not only keeping yourself safe if they don't work out, but you're also helping them adapt into the position better. So that's the first thing. Now, what if we have someone in that role and they aren't really suited for it? Well, the hard truth is we need to get them out of that role. We need to back them down into a frontliner role, or we need to get them somewhere else, because nothing is worse for your organization than having poor management. But a lot of times it can be helped with proper training first. So get them some good management training. And but here's the thing, if you find out that they just don't really have the people skills to manage others, you know, that takes a lifetime to learn for some folks, and you really need to determine how long you're going to let that go, because it's continuing to wreak havoc. So sometimes the best thing to do is, if training doesn't bring a pretty quick change, if it's not just a matter of skills that needed to be learned, then we really need to get them in a role that they can succeed in as soon as possible, and learn our lesson and not do that again going forward. So again, don't promote people too quickly. Promote people that have management skills and not just experts in the role. A quick positive example of that happening. So that happened to me. When I was in the Navy, I was a technician. I worked on radar, and I wasn't the best mechanic at all. There were guys in my work center that were senior to me in rank that were excellent at working on the gear, and I'm just not a gearhead. It just wasn't a good thing for me. But they saw that I was good with organization, I was good with communication. So they said, you know what, Tom, why don't you make the schedule every week? Why don't you go argue with the officers? Why don't you argue with supply and get us the things that we need? You seem pretty persuasive. And let us work on the stuff. Let us go get our hands dirty, and you do that. And their only caveat was, since I was junior to them, they said, you know, don't try to bully us around. We're still senior in rank to you, but look, listen, we'll respect your role. We'll respect your schedule. We'll do what you ask. You know, just don't abuse it. But we'll make you work center supervisor because you have management skills and we don't. And frankly, it frustrates us. And it was a great deal. And so I moved into a management role without being an expert in the job of being a technician, but being more of an expert in management. Worked out wonderfully, and I learned a lot from that experience. We really want our managers to be expert managers and not necessarily expert technicians. Many entrepreneurs I work with can't necessarily do the role of even the company that they might own. I worked with a flooring company one time. The owner, who was the manager, couldn't lay a piece of tile to save his life, but he could manage and run the company very well. So something to consider as you look at your management team and where to go next. I hope that was helpful. If I can help your organization more directly in any way and how to identify managers, how to train managers, how to get them holding their teams accountable, and how to unstick you if you're stuck with a bad middle management structure, feel free to reach out to me here and put a comment in the comments block or the comment section below, or give me a call or email. And I'll be happy to talk to you a little bit further about how I might be a resource for you. Until then, I'll see you on the next video.